Let's think about Bob Jones' time clock for a minute that Gary Beaton brought to us and revealed to us. Very significant, very key. I believe I remember Gary saying we were the first place he showed it. He said that. Now, it was an unedited version, I believe, the raw version. But I went and watched later. He redid it, and then while it's going, Bob through Gary. Ooh, necromancy, no. Gary begins to explain what this really means. And it was, bottom line is, we were out of step, we were out of time, and God was catching us up, accelerating us, bringing us back to where we need to be now, which was the fulfillment of the six. The fulfillment of man. What is the fulfillment of man? Perfection, full redemption, fully restored as a man of God, as sons of God. That's the moment we're in. And remember, there's 250 years, give or take, in all of this. See, I want to be around to see it all. So I want to learn how to live and not die. I want to learn how to speak life and not death. I do. I want to learn how to reverse this. I believe that we can. Because I know that death is a result of sin. And the Bible says if I'm a new creation, I'm no longer a sinner. That He's made me a saint with His finished works on the cross. That there's enough power in the blood to perfect me. That perfect blood has the power to perfect me. Do you believe that? Well, full perfection is there's no more death. There's no more dying. There's no more sickness. I'm not there yet. I don't know if anybody is, but there may be a few that we don't know about that are on the backside of that mountain waiting for the rest of us to get there, to be prepared, to come over that mountain, the top of Zion. Who at the top, that's the place of power. That's the place of authority. That's the place of the throne. That's the place of kingship, where you rule and reign over everything, where you're in the highest place with Him. Okay, so Bob Jones. This was interesting because I remember, and Gary says it on the second video, he talks about 1155. Prophetically, that's where we are. That's where we were. We were in the 11 somewhere between 11:55 and midnight. Jesus coming. The seventh millennial beginning and the setting up of His reign on earth. Now, somewhere in that, I'm not going to contradict if you believe that we're going to be caught up. The rapture theory, I don't like to use the word rapture because it's not in the body, but caught up is. Being ascending up is. Jesus ascended into the clouds, into heaven. And so, Bob Jones believed in the rapture daily, that he was caught up daily in heaven and shown things, and he engaged with the things of heaven. He was in both places at the same time. Some people believe that we can't be until, God supernaturally somehow one day just comes back and takes us all back, and then He's going to come back and deal with all the enemies, and then we come back to rule and reign in His kingdom. I don't quite see it that way, but that's okay. If we're caught up before we come, that's great. I just want to come here and rule and reign over all my enemies and make all of His enemies my footstool. And I'm going to see His kingdom established on earth. See, this is the time of the kingdom age. That's what the time period that we're in. This is the kingdom time. And so, 11:55, looking at this time clock and these 500-year increments for each number on the clock, which are 12, which is the fullness, which is the number of kingdom, perfect government, perfect judgment, perfect justice. That's why there were 12 disciples. That's why there's, 12 apostles. 12 is the number of His government. And so, Bob Jones, 11:55. So, in figuring this out, I like numbers. So, guess what? 5 minutes. It's 5 to 12. That's what Gary said. That's what time it is. Somewhere in there, we're about 5 minutes to 12, according to that clock. And so 5 minutes, according to the prophetic time clock, from the time of Adam up till now, is each 5 minutes equals 42 years. Why is that important? 42. Does that number mean anything to anybody? There's a teaching about it in Matthew chapter 1. We're the 42nd generation from Adam. 42. 42 is the number of a generation. 40 is a generation. 2 is witness. 40 is also the number of the mem, the numerical value of mem, which is the letter of transformation. Is there a generation that's going to be transformed fully back into perfection? I believe so. And I believe it's going to happen in these 42 years.